Welcome everybody to the Somewhat Podcast, man. My name is Alex. We haven't been on for quite a bit, but we like to show up every once in a while, a couple months here, a couple months there. Um, Today's topic is supposed to be about pharmaceuticals, the FDA, food, drugs, like medicine drugs, not street drugs. I think
But the
today's topic
guest,
is going to be a
yeah,
roundtable.
but the guest had too much of it,
He,
so he couldn't make it.
he had too much
The
food and
expert,
too
I
much.
guess.
Yeah, our expert didn't show because he has what's the drugs. Anyways, my name is Alex. On board.
Risk, Risk in the house,
This is
and
Zoabe.
Saint's got new voice.
Why did you say
Saint?
Saint? Why did you introduce Saint?
Oh,
It's almost like you're like waiting for it, and then you're like, what? It's like a guy crossing the street. He knows he's on a zebra crossing, and just for shits and giggles, the light turns green. He walks backwards just to get hit by the car.
I see, Alex. You have your Cubano hat on, man.
See,
this Puerto Rican
see,
Alex today.
Rizwan clearly diminished the scenario I presented.
He did. He ignored it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He hooked me a different way. I was focused on what you were saying, and then he did his psychological tricks.
That's why the guy who gets hit by the car never figures out why it happened.
Want to explain to our guest Saint about your voice?
What happened to my voice? This is how I sound always.
It's the way he's always spoken, right? It's the way he's always sounded, right?
They just were hearing me wrong before.
Right. Well, we don't have our guests today to talk about pharmaceutical drugs and food, but we can dive into it a little bit. I guess the topic that we initially wanted to talk about was the pharmaceutical companies were.
So these are prescription fat burners we're talking about?
I'm sorry?
The weight loss medicine.
Yes.
So this is like prescription.
So let me just kind of let me give you a brief synopsis of it. So basically, there are several drugs on the market now that a lot of people are using for weight loss purposes. Initially, these drugs weren't indicated for that. Initially, these drugs actually were used for people with diabetes. But what they found was that these drugs could be quite effective for weight loss. So now more and more people are using it for that purpose. The names of these drugs that are common is Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. These are the three most common ones. And they've gotten a lot of traction because on social media, a lot of celebrities have been touting using these drugs, including Elon Musk, I believe. I think he used Ozempic, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of people are now using these medications for weight loss. And of course, they're effective. So that's why people are using them. They're generally safe. As far as the research studies go, the most common side effects are nausea, diarrhea, constipation, upset stomach. But most people seem to tolerate it. Well, they're not pills, by the way. They're injections that you self-administer.
Oh my god!
So they come in a fancy pen injector, and you just self-administer it, like once a week dosing.
I guess it goes no pain, no gain.
It's not painful. It's very simple.
I know.
Our guest's the guy who's supposed to come on, his main concern was that there's no long-term studies to
right.
Yeah, because they were not practically made for that purpose, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've only been used for weight loss purposes over the last several years, so there's going to be no long-term studies as of yet, of course. As far as is there any really dangerous side effect that's come to light so far? So far, no. As far as the best I can tell, but of course this can change, as we get more and more data.
And Rizke, wouldn't the initial long-term studies show what type of side effects these drugs would have, even if they weren't used
Well,
for.
I'll tell you something.
I just told you the common side effects.
One of
Didn't I?
my
Or
cousins,
no?
No, no, no.
one of my
I guess my
cousins, I
point is
won't
that.
name
Mhm.
because prior to Ramadan, and then after or his Eid pic, when he sent me his Eid picture, my jaw dropped literally. I'm not gonna lie, because he had in that picture he had lost over 200 pounds. All right.
200
He was
pounds.
using these drugs.
Well, yes, but I did not know like this whole thing was going in the background. Get it? Like where
Right.
I mean, I just imagined there probably now is a prescription drug for weight loss,
Right.
but I did not know that it was this what was driving it. So when you guys mentioned it, I actually sent a message on WhatsApp and I said, "Is that what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it worked." And now, I said, "Now, do you have to
Do
like
we,
keep taking
do
it?"
we know, is it just like fat weight loss or is it muscle weight
Dude,
loss as well?
that see, so here, I don't know, like right now, and it's not even looks like liposuction way, where your skin just kind of becomes
Mhm.
saggy when you lose that much fat off your muscles or the muscle mass. I don't know the details, but he was very close in the picture, so he looked. I was like, damn, man, it's just evaporated. 200 pounds.
Yeah, Alex. To your point, as far as the muscle, it is recommended that when you start these medications, that you also incorporate healthy lifestyle changes, including physical activity and exercise, so you don't lose muscle
Right.
mass.
So you are losing muscle mass. Okay.
You can, yeah,
I mean,
theoretically.
if you're
I wonder how the chemical process
what
works.
exactly, that's what I'm more interested in. What actually is it
Yeah.
doing?
So basically, what it is okay. It's complicated, but kind of just like in a layman's
Well,
sort of term.
you have to lose
So
the
the
excess
mainly
fat, right? On your,
well,
you know.
let me explain
Okay,
it,
go
and then you
ahead.
can ask questions. But basically, what it is the most common thing is that you tend to lose your appetite. That's number
Yeah,
one. Okay, number two is when you do eat, you tend to eat a lot less. You get fuller quicker. Alrighty.
that's
Mm.
very interesting.
Uh, yeah, and number three, the other thing is that it also regulates like insulin secretion. Correct.
Oh my God,
And
that
we know that insulin is involved, like
right.
in the breakdown of sugars and whatnot. So it could be like it could be resetting your hormonal sort of balance in a sense as well.
That
So
is
there's
like
probably
almost like the best drug, regulating insulin,
yeah, yeah,
your appetite, you're getting
yeah,
fuller. I mean, it's
yeah.
all like three checks in a go there.
So if you look at the research studies, people, and this is very impressive, by the way, people lost on average 15 to 20% of their total body weight if they stayed on the medication for like a year.
Mm.
And when I say
I've
prior Ramadan, I would
yeah.
say, let's say I saw a picture of him, on our
Mhm.
WhatsApp group,
Yeah.
which maybe like it was a time of 2 to 3 months in between. I saw the two pictures. Get it? Before and after.
Right. Now, obviously, there's a lot of questions that remain to be answered. Now, one big question is like, okay, what happens after you stop taking the medication? Does the weight come
Yeah, does
back?
it
Right.
mess up your
That's going to be
hormonal
the main.
balance?
That's going to be the main question. Now, the older appetite weight loss drugs, like the stimulants, things like phentermine, Adipex, people used to use those for weight loss previously. They had a very strong rebound effect. What that meant is that yeah, you did lose weight when you were on it, but as soon as you stopped, your weight would come back, and even more so. So far as what we can tell with these medicines, the rebound effect may not be like that, but there's no good long-term study yet which can tell us that hey, after you stop the medication, the weight won't come back. So right now, I've seen some like specialists. What they'll do is like once the person reaches a target goal, what they'll do is they'll go to a very low dose maintenance dose for some time
Right.
afterwards,
And kind of
Yeah.
wean them out of it.
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I guess it's better than
My
liposuction,
concern is
yeah.
because
I'm not.
lipo, you
I
just
can.
then have a saggy skin all over.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, my concern would be what is the hormonal
Mhm.
effect
Yeah.
afterwards?
Yeah.
Is your body
Yeah.
creating the same amount of insulin? Is it reducing the amount of insulin? What are the hormones looking like afterwards? That would
Yeah,
be my main
maybe
concern.
if someone thinks I feel like a woman today, that could happen.
But yeah, that's true. But I think but you have to keep two things in mind. One thing is that untreated obesity is like a huge health risk.
Yeah.
Like untreated obesity like puts you at high risk for heart attacks, puts you at high risk for like all sorts of like liver failure, kidney failure, whatnot. So you have to weigh the options, like untreated obesity or the possible side effect from, you see what I'm saying, from the medication. So
I do have
it's a
something
personal
to say
decision.
about.
I'm sorry.
So I, and this is specifically my opinion, not yours.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So if anybody's listening, this is my opinion. This is not Rizke's.
yeah.
So I've gone to Europe. I went to Italy recently,
Okay.
and the people there eat day and frickin' night. All they do is eat pasta, pizza, this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that, and a lot of times the Americans and American media and pop
Yeah.
like, well, they don't eat as much as we do. Well, that's not true. Like their portion size might be
Mm,
smaller, but they are eating throughout the day
mm,
like more meals than we do. Um, and yes, there is a correlation between smaller, more repetitive meals and larger meals. Even if you're eating less. But what I think is happening is that quality of the food and the type of food we're eating here
mm,
in the United States is subpar. I
mm,
think that in the manufacturing process
mm.
or in any food that's manufactured, like even pasta, right? Like they'll put the wheat and the water and the eggs, and then they'll add calcium chloride in the
Right,
United States,
right,
or they'll add some type of filler, right? Or the foods that are cooked here use like oils that are not good for
right.
you. Soybean oil, canola oil, cottonseed oil, corn oil. Like, so I think
Mm,
that type of ingredients that are put into our foods in the United States are conducive to weight gain. And not are they only conducive to weight gain, they are conducive to faster weight gain and keeping the weight on and not feeling healthy. Because, bro, I'll tell you, when I was over there, I was eating pizza and pasta and gelato
right,
day and night, and I lost weight.
right.
And I was walking just like I normally walk, like in New York
Mm.
City.
So you're saying
And
there's a conspiracy?
it's not a conspiracy. It's like if you like I went when I was in Italy, I looked at the tomato
No,
sauce.
you're right.
The,
Like, but the industrialization over here, I guess the greed factor is like use cheap stuff.
the,
We don't care. People get
yes,
fat. More money for the medical people. We all win.
they
Well,
have industrialization over there
Yeah.
too. Like let me
you
give
know,
you
But
an example.
I
yeah,
think Europe is still not as far industrially, like how the corporations work here. I mean, they're getting there now, but like there's even like when we go to Pakistan, there's
mhm,
more organic food available in the stores
mhm,
Yeah.
than compared to over here. Like over here, you actually have a separate aisle for organic, and you know
mm,
now you've got the non-GMO and the GMO. I mean, all that stuff's now becoming, because people realize the commercial stuff, cheap stuff has all
I
this
think they
stuff in
just
it.
take their food a lot more seriously.
Yeah, now
That's what I
like
think it is.
yeah, I think over here they don't have to label their food. Get what I'm getting at? Like they don't have to separate it out. Get it? Like you weren't actually looking
They,
for.
they do in Europe.
They
In
do,
Europe, they
they
separate it
do.
out.
But you go to small towns in Italy and stuff. I'm not talking like big city stuff.
Yeah, and they don't. Yeah,
They're just growing stuff and eating. That's it.
yeah.
no, I agree with Alex that definitely plays a role. But we also have to keep in mind that obesity is not just caused by one thing.
Yeah. There's
Obesity,
Yeah, yeah.
obesity. If you look at the research, obesity is multifactorial most
yes,
commonly.
it has a lot of
I'll
factors.
tell you, and I'll tell you another thing. And here's something that a lot of people may not know, but this is quite interesting. There's actually even research which links the rate of obesity increasing in the United States to basically excessive antibiotic use.
For what?
And what well, the theory is that, like, if your gut bacteria change, right,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
that can also then be a causative factor in more people being prone to obesity. Actually, it's very interesting. I mean, it's still early on, but I'm just, what I'm saying is that we haven't, we don't have, like, we don't fully truly know exactly, all the factors that could be involved in the rise of the obesity. And of course, the food is obviously one factor with the processed food, like Alex mentioned. But keep in mind, there's probably a whole host of
No,
other factors as
I
well.
agree with you. It's multifactorial, and I guess after
Yeah,
COVID-19, people now working from home,
yeah,
sitting on a desk 24/7,
yeah.
spending their time.
There's a lot of factors.
You
Well,
in this day and age, people are less moving, like have motor movement of their body than they used to in the prior years. People are becoming more prone to technology. Just
Yeah.
facilitating a lot
you're
of the
breaking up,
stuff.
Saint.
So
You're breaking up, Saint.
like
What happened?
DoorDash and stuff. With the delivery services, nobody leaves the house to go get food.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
leaving your house less than you used to.
Of course. Alex, can you hear us, or you're breaking up? Hold up. I think we lost Alex.
Oh no, I'm here. I'm just having a hard time following Saint.
Oh, you can't hear him clearly?
And you guys are breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, see, we both can hear us. And I
Okay,
think
so
your
then it's my end.
internet, yeah, because you just kind of went a little robotic right now.
Let me I'm back on.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna pause.
Go.
But one thing I did want to bring up to you guys, like I just wanted to give you an example.
Mhm.
So like I was going through the supermarket in Italy and I took up a tomato sauce, yeah? Ingredients were tomatoes, salt, water, pepper.
No preservatives,
Mm.
nothing. I mean,
That's it.
basic,
And
yeah.
then I looked up I took the tomato can from here, like a tomato sauce from here, and it's like
Enzyme
even the
10.
organic ones.
Yeah,
No,
enzyme
no, even the
this.
organic ones.
Yeah.
No, yes, like ragu. I mean, has like all types of stuff in it. Soybean oil, this, that, and like, why is there oil in tomato sauce?
It's like almost a paragraph under ingredients.
Yeah. So I looked up the organic tomato sauce.
Yeah.
And then it has tomatoes, water, calcium chloride.
Which is
And I'm
salt.
like, why is there calcium chloride in the food? Like it's a preservative,
Yeah,
right? It keeps
calcium. It keeps the pH because it'll become acidic, so it keeps.
So right. So I looked up calcium chloride, and it causes heartburn. It causes indigestion.
Mm-hmm.
People who have like GERD and like reflux disease and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When they stop, some of them, when they stop taking calcium chloride, or like searching the food for calcium chloride, it goes away because it's an acid, yeah, and it's not a natural acid. And when your body's taking it, what causes GERD? What causes acid reflux is acid. You're supposed to lower the amount of acid that you take. The calcium chloride that is affecting some people. So
Yeah.
I started searching for like tomato sauce with no calcium chloride, and I finally found it. And then now I'm like, oh, so now check this out. So the FDA has done like a major push for forever chemicals and microplastics and BPA free stuff because like they're starting to listen to the researchers that have been screaming at the top of their lungs saying that these forever chemicals are affecting people's ability to have children. Right? Fertility rates are being affected because of the forever chemicals. And if something's not done, people are not going to be able to have kids anymore. Yeah? And then the microplastics
There
are
goes their anti, abortion
yeah,
idea.
and the microplastics is affecting people in other ways that we don't know about, you know. And so they've done a major push now to like remove some of these forever chemicals or microplastics from the manufacturing
You
process,
know,
the manufacturing system, et cetera, et cetera.
Becoming sterile over the period of your lifespan is becoming a lot more common in the United States. It's not common, I would
Hmm.
say. It's happening to a lot more people than it used to. I was actually looking at that, and that's also affected the overall population, birth rate. Uh, that was me diving into, the everything that goes, the conspiracy
Mm.
theories and everything else behind the anti-abortion, laws and everything. But it was kind of interesting. But yeah, they're becoming more sterile. So I guess the commercialization of the food does affect overall a lot of other things.
Yeah, sadly, I'm not well versed in this topic, so I really can't contribute much. So I'll just listen to you guys. But I mean, certainly it's an important topic, and wish we had Mo, because I think Mo does a lot of research on this. He
Yeah.
does like a lot of research
He
on
sure
processed
did.
foods, on processed foods and everything. He does a lot of
Yeah,
Got
it.
it in 3 years.
if he had not given us the Mo slip.
But going back to the drugs, let me ask you guys a question. Like, if you guys became like overweight and whatever, for
I'll
whatever
take that
reason,
pill.
would you
Oh
consider
no, it's
taking the
not a
medicine?
pill. Sorry, it's an injection. My
It's
bad.
an injection, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I
So
would take
Saint,
it.
you first.
Nope.
Saint,
Nope.
you would? Okay.
No.
Alex,
I will not.
Yes,
I said no.
you would
would.
not?
Yes, that's what I
Okay,
said.
what? How come? Why not?
Dude, I can exercise and lose the 10, 20 pounds I don't need. Then take
No,
it.
I'm saying if you were really obese, like if you were like 60,
okay.
70 pounds over,
Yeah, then probably, I'll stick the needle.
Okay.
God forbid. Yeah, I mean, like,
I mean, for
you
like
know
20,
how difficult it
like
is to
just
lose.
20 pounds, losing 20, 30 pounds. If you're taking that, no, you
Yeah.
can do that on your own.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, losing 100 pounds is
Yeah, I mean,
like
100 pounds,
so
man,
difficult.
that can change a person's life.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think,
It-
I
it's-
think, yeah, I think,
At that
you know,
point,
yeah.
because it's either that or liposuction, man, or like having a heart attack. So you take the fastest route to success.
And the thing is,
It's
the reason
either
why, yeah.
I mean, you already know. I mean, it's not that medicine's not the only bad thing you ever taken in life. There's other probably factors killing you: stress, depression. So at that
Yeah.
point, I'm. It's almost like you don't even have to think about it. It's like a clear decision.
That's why they're so
stress and
popular,
weight
man.
gain. Yeah, stress and depression lead to weight gain as well. But it's that more than 80 pounds or the last 5 pounds is when you need that medicine.
course.
At that point, we're just talking like literally like for people who. I mean, there's a lot of obese people who can't even, they're just too embarrassed to go in public and stuff like that. And I can see them. Hell, if that medicine gets them up,
Now-
up and going and have a change in life and be, the person they want to be, then all for it.
Now, one aspect we didn't talk about was cost. Now, I
Yeah,
will say that these medications, since right now they're in the United States, they're all brand name. There's no generic versions of them yet. So if you don't have good insurance, they're very expensive.
Trust me, man. Well, you know how amount of people have spent on just losing weight on other of those supplements.
I know,
My
but-
God.
No, but we need to. But I just want to talk about
go
it
ahead.
because
Just
this is obviously another fact.
generally, if you don't have
Yeah.
an insurance, what's the
Yeah.
cost?
Like for a month supply,
Let's say for a month.
maybe about $1,000.
I was kind of thinking, that's probably was going to be my guess, about $1,000.
Now the cost. The interesting thing is the cost of these medicines are probably half of that in Canada right now. In
Take
Mexico,
a trip
I'm sure
to
it's probably
Canada.
What's that?
Take a trip to Canada. Go to a doctor, get prescription, and come back here.
Yeah, why not, dude?
Exactly. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you have a legal prescription, you can cross the border with that drug.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think at this point, the drug companies and the insurance companies
Yeah.
are the ones that are keeping each other in check. The insurance companies keeping the drug company in check, and the drug companies keep the insurance companies in check. But I will say one thing, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in a liberal city, in a liberal state, and I moved to a conservative state, and I've transitioned on a lot of opinions, right? To
Yeah.
a more conservative, more Republican viewpoint. But
Me too.
you will not convince me. Yeah, you will not convince me that national health care is not something that's necessary. You cannot convince
Right.
me that, because you can
Right.
send trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to Iraq and to Afghanistan and to Ukraine and to this, and you can't spend on universal health care for the public. There's no excuse for it. The American public pays now
Yeah.
more money per person than they would in taxes for universal health care. There's no real argument. You know,
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
I mean,
people put forward
I don't know,
is
man.
just the philosophical argument. It's not a
Right
real
now,
argument.
they got a 32, 35, whatever $1 trillion deficit. Making these choices at this point is kind of like now they got to choose what's more important. You
Well,
know,
Alex, as you're well aware, the reason why that there's no movement on healthcare reform is because there's too many vested interests. It's
Yeah,
as simple
yeah.
as that.
Even when Obama did it, he made it into an insurance cash cow, insurance company cash cow.
that is a monster too big to fight for any president.
What's that?
I mean, dude, you know this.
Oh,
is
by the
thing.
way,
No, go ahead, Riska.
yeah. No, go ahead, go ahead.
You know, this
No,
is the
go
thing,
ahead.
right? If you don't have an opponent that's worth fighting, then nobody would fight.
Mm.
You know, like voters and industrial country in the world offering healthcare to their citizens and not here. You know, and
Right.
look, if you're poor, you get free healthcare anyways. Just go to
Yeah.
the hospital and get your healthcare, and that's it.
They're not
It
going to
might not
give
be
you
the
a,
best healthcare.
they're not going to give you the fat burner on that healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, look, then if you're poor, you shouldn't be eating too much.
Oh my
Right? You gotta
God,
have
man!
money to
You
eat,
just
right?
pissed so many
Damn,
people
Alec,
off.
you sound really
you're like,
compassionate.
oh, it's your fault. You're poor. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Wow. I don't know this
Dude,
guy. I do not know him.
Just joking, bro.
Whoa.
It's
Scrooge.
just joking. It's just joking.
Scrooge has some competition. Scrooge.
Yeah, you know they say the best jokes come out when you're serious.
Do they say that?
I said that.
Well, if you look at people with less money here in the country, those are the ones that are suffering from the most health problems
I think,
because they don't have access to good quality food.
Yeah.
man, that tangent.
You don't need money
there,
to work out.
I
It's the food.
I'm not gonna even touch that tangent right now. Like here, you know, because it all comes down to this. We gave what $30 billion to Ukraine to go, you know, have more people just die fighting for something. Like, what are our moral, you know, like considerations? It's too freaking complex to put in words. The morality and the ethics of a bigger picture is just not there here. You know, they got a lot of good stuff going on, but I think morally the US is facing its worst years.
Are we done with it? Are we done?
$75 billion the U.S. gave Ukraine.
So
$75 billion.
are we done with the drugs?
No, hold on. You telling me? Yes, we're done with the drugs. You're telling me
Okay.
the Biden administration couldn't take $50 million and give it to
Billion.
Baltimore, right? Let's say Baltimore City. What that would do to Baltimore? $50 million, right?
I can
Based on
already hear a lot of
Amar.
voices in my head saying that phrase you said, why cannot? There's a voices. I hear racism in the background. I hear a lot
No,
of
it's
other
not
crap in the
racism. It
back.
has nothing to do with that.
I'm
No,
just
no,
I'm
no, no,
just
no, no,
hearing
no,
the
no,
back
no, no, no.
voices.
No,
It's not me
because the
saying it.
same thing applies. Listen, the same thing applies to poor counties in like Ohio, West Virginia, Illinois. This is no difference. This is the reason why federal government and the state
What we
government
want
will
to
not
say is
give.
what you want to word it, and I'll be because the thing is you have to wrap the candy the correct way so they can actually digest it. So you gotta
No,
say, cannot
outrage creates
Biden
votes.
spend $50 million for United States citizens? All right, born and raised here in Baltimore, and help them out. You gotta say it like that. Everybody
So
can be a
like,
politician.
but hear me out, right? The Democratic Party will not give Baltimore City or Detroit City to the black citizens in those cities that money because they want them to continue to vote Democrat. They don't want their lives to improve. They want their lives to continuously be bad and struggling. So this way, there's an incentive for them to vote Democrat. Your life sucks because of Republicans. Your life sucks because of white supremacy. Your life sucks
Oh,
because of this. And then the opposite.
maybe they want to be closer to God. You know, when you're in under a calamity and stress, you remember God
Yeah,
more. Yeah,
well,
that could be it.
and the opposite same for the Republicans. These rural counties, the Republicans won't give them any money. Why? Because the Democrats are doing this to you. The Democrats took your jobs. The Democrats are giving all the money to these minorities. You know, it's bullshit. It's
You know,
all
I think
horseshit.
the
Each side is playing these games.
entire globe needs a fresh political base. They need to just throw all these, either if they don't want to expire out, then expire them out, you know, whichever way possible. But politicians right now in the global circle, they just need to go. They just need to go. And the term career politician needs to end in this country. There should be nothing, the word should not even exist.
So I was talking to someone, and we said, "What would you do with the $50 million in Baltimore? How's that going to help anyone?" Okay, simple. Give more money to the police. Give them better training. Flood the crime-ridden neighborhoods with police. And whatever happens, happens. You know, the ends will justify the means, right? And
Hopefully they don't know where you live.
and at the same time
Whatever.
offer
Happens.
at the same time offer job training to people that don't have jobs. You know how many CDL drivers are needed? You know how many welders are needed? You know how many plumbers assistants are needed? You know how many electricians are needed? You know how many, like, these skills are labor skills that you cannot replace. It doesn't matter how much AI you have, how much artificial intelligence, no matter what, you're going to need people to build stuff. You're going to need people to weld. You're going to need people to drive stuff, period. And that makes money. That will put money in people's pocket and lower crime and reduce crime and reduce drug use
you
and reduce
improve
depression.
you improved the level of people's livelihoods. You automatically it's like a direct effect on crime. When people have jobs and they are earning, you know, nobody wants to go freaking steal shit. A lot of people have to get into that because there's no other way to get money for them. You know, it's obviously people are going to say, well, everybody has a choice. Well, yes. And sometimes, you know, they are pushed into a choice.
Well, what do you guys think is like the? I mean, I know there's no easy answer, but what do you guys think is in terms of all the different type of political systems that you can have, right? Like uh, constitutional republics versus parliamentary system versus monarchy versus what do you guys think is the most efficient way to govern?
Man, you're asking a
Efficient or
question.
effective?
You know that
Effective.
question. Oh my God! Do you? That is a very difficult question. It's a very difficult.
I said it was, but I just curious if you had any thoughts on that or not.
I will refrain from entertaining that one for now because I don't know where to even start from. Like
What about you, Alex?
everything we got, communism, socialism, whatever
Yeah.
they all
Yeah.
have weak, the cons and the pros. Some cons just outweigh the pros.
Yeah.
So there's too much.
I'm not saying it has to be I'm not saying it. Listen, I'm not saying it has to be a perfect system.
But
all
I
I'm
will-
saying
okay.
is that in the context
Let's-
of today's
let's-
world, which
I will
Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
the presidential system the United States has is actually one of
Yeah.
the best governing systems across
yeah,
the
one of the
world.
better systems.
I hate the
Yeah.
parliamentary system in Europe because that's what India and Pakistan adopted,
Mhm.
Okay.
and we'll just leave that there. It is such a bad system.
What
It-
about
again,
monarchies?
Monarchies. If you have a good king, then everything is good. If you have a bad king,
Everything's good. If you have a bad
yeah,
king,
it depends
everything's
on one
bad.
person. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's roll the dice. What we gonna get?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a monarchy and a dictatorship, let's say, the highs are really high and the
Right.
lows are really lows. So it depends.
Yeah,
But
there's
when
no
you have,
like-
none of them. Maybe there have been like the ones who are in the gray area where you're just like, okay, we'll take the the sweet and the sour. It works out.
Yeah.
a republic would be more level,
Yeah,
on how it is.
I will say I'm a big fan of the United States presidential system. It's a well thought out system. It has its checks and balances.
Despite its flaws, I mean, compared to the other systems in the world, it seems to be running more
The problem,
effectively, correct?
the
Is
problem
that what you're
comes
saying?
like, well, here's the thing. The problem with any system is whenever you have too many corrupt people in it, then the system's going to run the way,
It fails.
So corruption in the human nature, I guess, is the key factor. But I guess in a republic like this, it takes a lot more time for it to get bad, really bad. In a monarchy, it gets bad in one day, buddy. So
Yeah.
So there's
it's an interesting thought, because like I think various philosophers have grappled with this issue, like starting from Plato. I don't know if you guys have read Plato or not, but his book The Republic, he talked a lot about his political philosophy, and he was of the opinion that the best form of government is one which is run by what he termed, and this is interesting, by the way, because I'm going to link it to Islam in a sense. Like what he said was that the best form of government is one that's run actually by a person who's a type of philosopher king.
Who has his ethics and checks and balances.
Who has a very
balanced
very
person,
high,
right?
He actually he was very opposed to democracy because he said you cannot trust the masses.
Right. Well, the country was a republic. It was never a true democracy. Like you,
Right.
and I empathize with the idea that only certain people should vote. If you have a stake in the game.
That's a hot rocket you just loaded there.
No, it's a hot topic.
Certain people should vote.
Hold on. People turn that into a hot topic.
I know. You gotta
evil in the country,
park that car
right? I am
in the right way. Yeah.
I'm gonna parallel park it right now.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm gonna give you the
Parallel
space
park
to do it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna parallel park it. In the onset of the country, the founders prevented most people to vote. So what it was is that you had to be a white and a landowner, right? And then it extended to you didn't have to be a landowner. And then it extended to all races could vote. Black people could vote, ex-slaves, right? Then it extended to women, right? Now,
how about just the ones who pay taxes?
This is why, right? Yeah, and
I mean, wouldn't that be a pretty? I think that would be hard to oppose because people who are paying taxes, they're contributing to what the whole system is built on. They have a right to vote.
So it's a hot topic because throughout
I think that
portion
that
of the
one I can agree
time,
with. That one I can agree with.
It specifically prevented African Americans from voting. and then Jim Crow and the laws in the South, like, were all made to prevent black people from
Yeah,
voting,
we'll
right? And
skip
that's why
that
it's a hot
part.
topic.
We'll skip all that part because everybody, I mean, even today, as
We all know about it.
exactly, and but they realize the faults in it and everything because. But
Right.
now here the question is where how democracies can also work like a double-edged sword because people are manipulative.
Mhm.
You can manipulate them,
Yes.
and it's no freaking we've seen it day in day out. So if the guy who pays his taxes, I think that would be one across the board. I assume no, people will have an easier time digesting. All right, yeah, he's a taxpayer. He has also the right to vote.
That would prevent a lot of minorities from voting.
That's true. Which at that point, I think that is a very
I have
yeah.
a better idea. Either you have to have a high school diploma, or military service, or you own property. 1, 2, or 3. Right? So those three groups would have the vote. And it would, like, my idea of like lowering the amount of people that vote is to prevent demagogues from coming into power.
Yes,
And
that
then people squabbling
it
over
will have a
stupidity.
policing effect.
Yes.
How about also
So-
like on the other spectrum, like we are putting these things on the people voting and everything. How about the ones who go in the Congress or any seat of power in the government, federal government, and state governments? Their families, if they're married, their wife's immediate family and the person who's running his immediate family cannot invest in stocks
Yeah.
and not, gain any kind of benefits from him being in office. Like their financial accounts would be a federal knowledge and monitored during his term, as long as
and none
he's
of these
elected.
people would run.
So that's a good policing effect too. And here's the other thing: the campaign donations they get would not be the donations they get directly. It will be another department managed by the federal government, where people donating to the specific politician, it goes in an account, and when he needs to campaign and use for advertising and everything, he can get the money from there. So it's allocated correctly. They don't need to get that money directly in their hands.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah.
I think these kind of checks and balances will make the republic system a more effective system.
Yeah. Obviously, definitely.
Because I hate hearing the term career politician, to be honest.
And term limits too would be helpful.
Yes,
but,
term limits
you
also.
saw how they don't have any interest in doing that.
It should be something not people are searching for okay, I'll be a politician, I can get everything done. It'd be something where they're actually wanting to do something for their country as a patriot. Get it? That would be the interest. So when people aspire for a noble interest, those are the ones who are going to be going for office, not the ones who are going to be making money.
Yeah, or it could be something like where it's like a jury duty.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you get pulled. Like it's Saint's turn to be Secretary of State.
Oh my God, man!
county,
I think that I'll be honest, man.
Not
There's some
president. Okay, not presidential cabinet, but like, there's qualifications for state representative, for House of Representative, for state senator, federal.
I see
federal
what
senator,
I see what you're getting at, because even for jury duty, like the lawyers kind of
Yeah.
go through
Yeah.
the lot.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets picked on the jury. So
Right.
they can, but are they willing to do it? That's the question. Do they want to improve
No.
the system? Yeah.
But here's another question though, because I know politicians, they're, obviously they're deservedly so. They get a lot of criticism, and I definitely agree with that. But I want to ask you guys a different question, which is like, how much is the political class just more a reflection of the society that they're in? So basically, what I'm saying is that, does a society deserve the government that it gets?
Say that again. The society deserves.
The government that it gets. So basically, what I'm saying is is not politicians there just a reflection, like a mirror almost, of the larger society as well?
Okay, I know what you're saying. You're using that the Islamic parallel. Where because
Yeah, it's an Islamic parallel.
God gives you the leaders
Okay.
that reflect the public.
Yeah.
Like what you are
Yeah.
is what God gives you as leaders. If you are corrupt, you are
Right.
like thieves, that's what you're gonna get as leaders. And if you are
Right.
if you are being, like honest
Right.
citizens, you will have an honest leader.
So what do you guys think about that
No,
concept?
that concept is very
Can I speak first on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I believe in that concept, and I will say directly, the United States the public has a strong lack of integrity. And I'll tell you why, right?
Mm.
It's fractured, right? So if you're a Republican, if the Republican Party does XYZ, you agree with them. You disagree with whatever the Democrats do. If the Democrats the next year do the same exact thing that the Republicans were doing, and the Republicans now are doing the opposite that the Democrats were doing, that last year you just had criticized, you will now support the Republicans on the opposite policy and criticize the Democrats on what the Republicans were doing last year. So the public
that goes
itself
back.
doesn't have integrity.
Yeah,
Has no integrity. Like you
that
have
goes
to
back
stand
to
for
their
what
easily
is
manipulated.
right.
Yeah, they're like this is our team. Whatever they say,
Yeah, and
they're not thinking about what they're saying. They just
you can't put
I'm
party
red team.
before country.
No, they usually what they say. God bless the United States. No. There's also what am I? They put God below everything else when they say that. I don't know the exact. When I think it comes to me, I'll let you know. But yeah, there's something like country something.
I'll give you a beautiful example. Hold on a second. When Bill Clinton was going through his corruption and his problems with lewd behavior in office and Monica Lewinsky and all this stuff.
You mean his lube change?
The Republicans that I was working with in the hospital when I was working in the hospital, they were all like, "How can this man be president? Anyone that has moral corruption like this cannot be president. This is disgusting. This is unacceptable." Blah 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 blah. And then when Trump came into office, like, "Oh well, it's not a big deal. I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it." I mean,
no, he's right.
Like,
Here's my question to you: the people who are saying, "Oh, EU," just ask them how many lube jobs you gave, today. Or God.
Yo, Saint, you're pagal today, bro. I like it. I like this.
No, it's a hypocrisy. People are not even aware of.
Yeah, dude. And like it's like you were complaining about this guy, and then now it's okay. Like you're like don't have integrity. You must have integrity. You must stick to what you believe in. Your morals are not flexible.
I think people are associating morality with just believing in God. I think morality has always been a natural conscience of human nature. It's there. You always know if you're doing something right or wrong. When you know that, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that's a whole different thing. But every human being knows when they're doing something right or wrong. That is a fact.
This is the perfect time to pivot to morality. We got 15 minutes left. So I would say that morality is taught. What do you
yes.
think?
You also got to realize why you're getting these kids shooting in schools and going psycho. You can blame the guns all you want. If a person is happy in school, they're not gonna think about picking up a gun and shooting somebody. It drives a person to a point to even think about that. So,
But
like
wait, like
the family
Alex,
structure in the
yeah,
United States has been under attack for a while now. It's bad. People are, now you're
right.
the single family term. Single mom, single dads is becoming just. It's every
I would,
other kid.
yeah, yeah. I would say that I think morality is a combination of certain innate characteristics combined with learning with what you learn in your environment. So I would say that it's multifaceted, because like even like the concept of the fitra with Muslims, right? What is that? You know what I'm
Fitra,
talking about, Alex?
well, fitra is a little deeper than just like
Yeah,
morality,
I know,
but your fitra is that the soul always is searching for the divine. Like there's like this thirst of
but
the
yeah,
creator
but like basically,
connection.
like there's
The
like innate
fitra,
tendency.
yeah,
There's an innate tendency toward gravitate towards God.
towards good,
What does that mean
all
though?
good.
That's morality.
Right,
There's
that is
morality involved in
morality
that.
because even in the Bible, as the Christians believe
Yeah.
that man was created on good, like nature. That's his fitra, we would say. Man was created good, to do good, not evil. He can go towards evil, but his nature was designed to be good.
My understanding is a little bit different with Christian theology. Like my understanding is that like basically, and this is where Islam and Christianity have a huge difference. Is that whereas in Christianity, and I could be wrong, but like my belief, their theology is that Jesus Christ died for our sins.
That's their
And that
salvation.
no,
That's
wait,
the
wait, just wait. Let me finish. But and what they're saying is that like because human nature by default is towards
like
towards
they will
doing bad,
sin. They will sin. Yeah.
that you will sin, that your only salvation is to believe in Jesus Christ.
You're absolutely correct, but
The-
in Genesis when they're talking about the creation and everything, there's
Right.
this part. You got
Right.
remember it's a whole thing, but you're correct about that, yeah, because man can just not abstain
Yeah.
himself
Yeah.
and herself from sin. So
Exactly.
so for salvation, the whole thing about Jesus and
I
everything
always
else.
thought that the reason for the belief in salvation was through Jesus alayhi salam was because of the original sin.
Yeah,
The
the original sin.
Yeah,
of
it-
disobeying God. It's passed down from person to person, from father to son.
but then
to
they
father to
take
son.
that sin and
But they take that sin and they generalize
they
it.
metaphor it into
Yes.
like even if Adam couldn't abstain from sinning, get it?
Right.
How like we are also prone
We're
to
weak.
sinning.
Basically,
Right.
we are very weak,
Yeah.
right, by nature.
But Islam has the same.
Like
No, it does.
Islam
No,
also, but for
it's
us,
different
like
though. It's
for-
very different. Very
but-
different.
No. I mean, in
God
terms
says
of us
that
being
I
weak.
know. God says that I know you're weak, but you
Right.
repent. When you stop repenting, you've given up the right to get forgiven. When you stop repenting, so repent till your last breath with sincerity. Because at the end, like the Islamic belief is, you can't just go to heaven on the basis of how many good deeds you've got. It's gonna be through the mercy of God letting you go in heaven.
Right.
I'm convinced that this idea of fitra or of searching for the divine is genetic.
Mm-hmm.
I am convinced that it's in our DNA and
Dude,
that some
who
people
wrote
have
the
more than
program?
others.
Who wrote the program?
Yes. And if you look at one of the first stories in Abrahamic faith, right? So if you think about Abrahamic faith, the Jews, Christians, Muslims, it all starts with,
Yeah, we also signed
the foundation, like
Abrahamic Accord.
Ibrahim
So,
alayhi salam.
yeah,
So listen, what's his story? He first goes and he's searching for God. That's his story. he goes first to the sun and says, "You're my god," and then he sees the sunset. He's like, "No." Then it's, "Oh, the moon is my god," and then the moon says, "No, you're not my god." And then this, and then that, and then this, until he finds the divine, right? And I think that this is the story, an example to us that this is in your blood, it's in your DNA, and so
think
morality is in us,
the next topic
and
for
it's
our
learned.
podcast should be why are so many celebrities and people in the West coming towards Islam? I think that would be a good one. Because
Yeah.
there was a millionaire in England, and they're like, he's a gypsy. I think his dad, and he did, his son became, and I think he's really young. He's probably 22, 21 right now, very young, and he just wanted more substance in his life, like like discipline. And Islam captured him, and this guy's a millionaire now, and he's like, the prayers, the other things I do just keep me so focused. I'm like less frustrated and not overthinking things than I used to. It just did like a whole brain switch for him. And people who are successful, like, they can tell you exactly. It's like, them taking, like somebody taking a prescription drug, telling them, yeah, man, that thing works.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think.
yeah, definitely could be an interesting topic.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think celebrities are moving towards Islam or Christianity or Judaism. I think that they've created their own cult of wokeism.
Yeah.
Whatever the flavor of righteousness is.
When I say celebrity, I'm not generalizing like all celebrities. I'm saying a lot of people that are known by other people.
Yeah, well,
they're known.
I don't know. And it points to what we were talking about, Saint and Riz, is the search for the divine. So, but anyways, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
You guys have any final thoughts that you want to?
Did we get any sponsors?
Yes. We have a sponsor today. Today's sponsor is the Big Brown Deck. Big Brown Deck on YouTube. Look at it. Look him up on YouTube. He has a video.
I'll put a link for him.
He doesn't want to make us burgers. The Somewhat Podcast Man.
But he wants us to.
When's he gonna come on here?
Yeah, we gotta. Well, and this kutta is not even making me food.
Oh my god!
So,
I'll bleep that out. I will. I have a lot more respect for our, Big O, so I'm gonna bleep that out.
I'm allowed to call him kutta.
I know you can, but I'm gonna bleep it out.
Okay, bleep it out.
All right, guys.
It's always good talking to you guys. I'm telling you, even if it's just every few months. So, all right, assalamu alaikum.
All right,
assalamu alaikum.